So is this a failure? No. Is this fulfilling the expectations that you can grow food and live forever on your property out of container gardening? I would say not. All right, guys, so what I'm doing, we're doing all kinds of chores this morning. Leather britches, getting ready to can, we're mowing, getting things ready out on the property. So what I've done here, I'm gonna try a new relish recipe and I'll post it for you. This is 7 cucumbers from the garden and I whipped them up, just chopped them up. So that's gonna be the beginning of the relish. And then I'm gonna take about 4 of my onions. I'm gonna do the same thing, okay? Those are mine. And then I'm gonna add 1/4 of a cup of pickling salt. And I'm gonna sprinkle it on the top and then I'm gonna cover this and I'm gonna let it sit all day till tonight. They say overnight, so probably a good 8 to 12 hours is what you're gonna look at. So this is gonna be really, really good. So, hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Welcome into the Messy Kitchen. That's going to be our new intro. Welcome to the Messy Kitchen. Hey, I already know all you mamas out there that are, the harvest is coming in and you are trying to get things put up and canned and frozen and prepped and all of this. You feel me. You know what this time of year is like. So here is the deal. If you've been watching the channel for at least a couple of weeks or months or something, honey, welcome back. But I have ran an experiment and I always encourage you to try to do different things. Grow what you like, do what you know works for you, but it doesn't hurt to try other things every now and then just to see how it goes. So this year I have grown my potatoes in 3 different places. 3. I have done my traditional tilling and rows, and we are still pulling potatoes and we have gotten bushels of potatoes. I've already put that in on film. You've seen that. Overall, a very high success rate. I did have a little bit of rot in one of my rows, the reds. It was the ones I planted first. And we got a bunch of rain, and so like for 2 days, and then we went with no rain. So weird weather, as you already know out there, does weird things to crops. So we've pulled all those potatoes. Overall, very, very pleased. The second method that I planted potatoes in, and it's not even worth really filming, it's pitiful. I did it in my lasagna garden. Now, the funny thing about the lasagna garden is there's a fly in here. We're going to ignore them. We're going to move on. So anyway, the lasagna garden, this is something that I established last fall, and it did really, really great for my onions. It has done great with squash, but it was a total failure for 2 things, in my opinion. The carrots didn't come up. Carrots were total failure this year. I've never had a failure like that with carrots, never. And then the potatoes, I pulled the rest of them today. They're like this big. It's like they just didn't grow. They had the room to grow. Not really sure what happened there. Could be something in the mixture. I just don't know. I'm going to transform that area into blackberries going forward, so I'm not going to test it again as far as my potatoes or anything like that. But I had extra seed potatoes, so that's why I did these experiments. I did some in the lasagna garden. Total failure. I mean, I wouldn't call it a total failure, but I'm talking a meal at best, okay? And then we did the traditional container gardening that you see everywhere, that videos have millions of views because they get millions of potatoes and then you eat forever out of a 5-gallon bucket. Really? So, like I said, because I had extra seed potatoes of some Yukon Golds, I decided to experiment. So we did 7 buckets. I had buckets from my orchard that already had holes pre-drilled in them. I bought the brand new gardening planting soil, right? And I put seed potatoes back in April, put them into the containers, sat them outside, took care of them. They made beautiful plants, no big deal. But let me show you what I got. There you go. Now, before you laugh with me or before you roll your eyes at me, hear me out on everything that I have to say about this. So I let these overextend on their days. I'm gonna have to cut this one open. I think this is just on the outside. We'll see if this one is rotten on the inside. We're gonna verify that. The team is on it. Overall, would I call this a failure? Well, no. So I literally went out today. I'll show you what I did, and I just plucked them out. I didn't pluck them out. I just turned the tubs upside down, the buckets, and let them roll out. You can see that the plants were virtually gone, almost non-existent. So there wasn't going to be really any more growth here going on. Overall, they look good. I think they're going to be very edible. They're going to be delicious. The skin is smooth. They would go great in the rest of my green beans here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some meals pretty soon out of these, okay? This would probably, depending on what I'm cooking, I might get, 2 meals, maybe 3 meals with this, depending on, how much we eat this in a meal or as a side item. But that is all that I am going to tell you, unless you're truly, truly rationing like crazy. This is really all I'm going to tell you that you're really going to get. So is this a failure? No. Is this fulfilling the expectations that you can grow food and live forever on your property out of container gardening? I would say not. So what are the pros here? Well, obviously the pros are I grew potatoes. Homegrown potatoes, you're not going to beat the deliciousness of it. It's also a skill. It's trying something new. It is growing food. In growing in containers, if growing in containers of some form is the only thing you can do, yes, do it. Do as much of it as you can. Get creative as much as possible. This is why I'm showing this to you, because I don't want you to have false expectations of how much food you actually grow with container gardening. Now, why am I saying that? That's a piece of grass. Why am I saying that? The reason I'm saying it is because I'm basing it upon everything that I read from you guys, the questions I get from you guys. And you need to be in reality right now. If you're up against the wall with time, space, money, resources, and whatnot, guys, yes, you need to have skills. Yes, you should grow your own food. That is a no-brainer. But at the same time, I don't want you thinking that you're going to be feeding yourself and an army for the next 6 months because you went and put some seed potatoes into 5 or 10 buckets out in your backyard. You very likely could get smaller potatoes than I got. You may not get any. You might get a few more, but even if you get a few more, it's not going to last you through winter. So you have to be realistic. See, this is the thing that stings people, I think, with our channel, is that we try to really, truly put you in the truth. We try to encourage you to do things, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that you're going to feed the whole world off of, 5, 10, 15 buckets of squash and potatoes and tomatoes in your backyard. That is not reality. This is why I tell you, I've been telling you, I will continue to tell you as long as it is available. Grow your food. Try different methods. Do as much of it as you can. Put it away. Seed save. Plan for next year and the year after. 110%. But you better have a backup for your backups. Do you know that these right now, I'm going off the top of my head, I believe these cans are 72 cents. They used to be 49 cents, excuse me. Not that long ago, but anyway, we'll just go with the the inflation of the day. Let's say these cans are 72 cents on the shelf at Aldi. Let's say I buy 10 of them. So before tax, that's $7.20. I can tell you right now that there is no way in the world that I believe that if I slice these up, I'm not sure that they would fit into 10 of these little cans over here. So even if it was this amount, which I don't think it is, you have to think about the money, the time, and the literal gamble that you put. If you have one way to choose right now to do something, I'm going to tell you, are you wanting to risk your $7.20 on this, or are you wanting to be guaranteed this? If you have to pick one or the other, it should be a no-brainer. You better be going for this right now. Because like I said, I'm not sure when I slice those up that I would quite get 10 full cans to rival this amount. But not only that, I believe I paid $7.99 for the bag of soil, not including the seed potatoes that I had purchased, not including my time, not including the, just trying to manage, checking on them, keeping up with them. Do we water them? What do we do? So again, am I discouraging you from growing your own food? No. I'm saying do both. I'm saying do this. You may you may have a bumper crop, okay? Any farmer or gardener will tell you that's been doing it for a long time. They will tell you any time that they ever get a bumper crop off of anything, they work themselves to silly death trying to put all of it up, because it's really funny how some years you may get gallons and gallons and gallons of berries or bushels and bushels of beans. And then the next year or the year after, you hardly get anything at all. So they were always very thankful for that bumper. I'm glad I got that bumper crop last year. I'm glad I put all that stuff up last year. So I'm saying we can't predict the future. So what we need to do is to do our best, grow what we can, try different methods that are reasonable and affordable for you. But there is no shame in the game on the backup. I don't regret growing these. We're going to eat them and we're going to love them. But it goes to show you better have a plan B, C, D, E, go all the way down the alphabet, because you just never know. Okay, I think this is just on the outside that we're starting to see. See if that was on the skin. So let's cut, we're going to find out. Oh yeah, look. Inside is just fine. Inside is just fine. So like I said, we're going to have a couple of good meals with this. Fry up some potatoes. We'll grill with them. I'll put them in my beans. That'll be delicious. So there's no waste. I'm just making sure that you understand the likelihood of what you're going to get and how you need to back that thing on up. All right, guys, we appreciate you being here today. I am making relish today. We're bringing in more tomatoes. It's time to start making salsa. I've got to start canning those. I got to can those potatoes. Tara, can the potatoes. Speaking of, I've got a bunch of those potatoes over here that I've got to can. So we have a lot of busy things coming up this week. We hope you are well. Please stay very, very busy with your pantry. Don't listen to anybody out there trying to talk you out of being self-sufficient as possible. I'm certainly not trying to do that. I'm just trying to make you understand what you're up against and what the reality is, and that a true farmer and a true gardener will tell you it is the ultimate gamble, and a smart one always has a backup plan or 5. We'll see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for all the emails and messages and wonderful comments. It's overwhelming, but it's a good thing. We're communicating together. We're telling each other's stories. We're understanding what we're up against so that we know how to win. We'll see you on the next video.